Hi, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours again, presented by us at BigDog Labs. We run the trading section of the theoretical Discord, and we also have our own website at bigdoglabs.io, which on there you can you can sign up and get our premium indicators. I think we'll be using a couple of those today. But everybody who's in the theoretical Discord has access to our free indicators. In the channel is called BDL FAQs in the trading section. Uh, in there's a channel called Our Free BDL Indicators. So you'll be able to find all of the some of the indicators that we use today in there, and you can add them to your trading view. And I think we'll probably talk about Level Hunter today. That's one of our premium indicators, and you can go to bigdoglabs.io and sign up, and you can use that for yourself as well. If you are joining us, feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and we'll get around to them. Or if you have a chart or a trade that you want us to look at, then we will look at it, give you some help. So this is an hour for everybody to pop in and ask questions of us about trading, trading view, charts, all this good stuff. So I'm Slam Badley. I don't know if I said that. I would say I'm the lead developer, I guess, at Big Dog Labs. So I tend to do all the Pine
Yes, you are.
scripting.
Yes, you are.
I tend to do the Pine scripting and write the indicators. And with me this week, we've got Angelo, who is our resident hype man and teacher. Uh, yeah, so hopefully you know him if you're in the server at all. And we have Yoshi as well, who's our algo trading bot expert and big important man behind the scenes. So yeah, we'll be chipping in as we go along. How are you guys, by the way? How's everyone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Good.
Nice. All right. So this week, Angelo messaged me on Friday night saying, "Hey, I've got this awesome Bollinger Band indicator I want to make that I've seen on a YouTube video." And he tried to get ChatGPT to make it, and ChatGPT did a bad job, in my opinion. I gave it an F,
It
and I
worked.
said,
It worked.
no, it didn't. And I said, I could make this in 20 minutes. So I did. And that's that is an indicator called Zone Finder. It's taken us a little while to tinker with it, get it looking nice. So we got this all coded up and it's ready for everyone to use. There's a link somewhere. So you can add this to your charts and find uses for it. I'll go into Zone Finder in a minute, but Zone Finder is in fact based on a very famous indicator called Bollinger Bands. And this is our version of the Bollinger Bands. I'm showing a chart that is, I think I'm on the Bitcoin daily chart, which is, yes, I am. Yeah, so Bollinger Bands, they look kind of crazy and it's taken me a very long time to get my head around how they work because they're a little bit counterintuitive maybe, but they look cool. They make your charts look cool. And we've got this nice version that has a couple of extra features and we've set it up just how we like it. But the short version is that Bollinger Bands essentially create this envelope which increases in size as the price is more volatile and decreases in size as the price consolidates. So you see here, let me get my paintbrush. Here we've got a big one that's happened after this crash here. And then you see as the price consolidates here, the Bollinger Bands narrow. So the way that these work is it's basically doing a measure of standard deviation. So you have some, let me bring up the settings tab here. By the way, if anyone's not that familiar with TradingView, For every indicator, if you hover over it, over the name of it, so where it says Bollinger Bands here, up in the top left, there's this cog, and if you click that, you get the settings menu. And this is where the magic happens in TradingView, in my opinion. So Bollinger Bands, you can see the different settings here. You have a moving average, which is this gray line in the center. So it's a length 20 moving average. And then you have the standard deviation from that moving average. So we're measuring that we're using a factor of 2 from this moving average. And that's basically how it draws these upper and lower bands. So standard deviation is just a measure of how far the, in this case, prices are from the mean, which is this moving average. So we can do a bit of experimenting actually here. If we use I'll just times it by 10, use a very big moving average, then suddenly that slows everything down, and essentially you're kind of zooming out, and makes these, you can see how volatile crypto is, right?
Mm.
These very, very big bands. Let's reset that. And the important thing for our discussion today is the standard deviation. So if I set this to 1, it basically is how wide the envelopes are. Usually you want to be using 2, but you set it to 1, they tighten up. If you set it to 3, then they get much wider. So we'll set it back to 2. It's also useful to know, so this is what's unique about our version of the Bollinger Band indicator, is the expansion and contraction. So to know whether the bands are getting wider or they're getting narrower. And sometimes when it's very wide, it's hard to tell when it's actually narrowing again. So we have it so it's colored in, and it measures. So when it's purple, it's expanding, and when it's this blue color, it's contracting. Why that's useful is, oops, yeah, my settings are still good.
Hi, Robin.
Why that's useful is, so let's go here. Here's a good example, right? So the price came down here and then it pumped really high up here. So the question is, how high is this pump going to go? Is it just going to keep going up and up and up, or is it going to level off? If I use the replay function, oh, I'm not that good at this. Okay, I'm going to learn how to use that for next week. We're going to do the replay function next week because I'm not confident. Anyway, so this is the price is pumped up here, and let's say we're here. The question is it going to pump higher or is it going to consolidate? And you can see this is still purple, so you could say, oh, well, it's still, the bands are still expanding, but then when we get to here, you see that this is now basically turning blue. And so you can see that your Bollinger Bands are contracting again. So the price is likely leveling out. And this upward move at least this aggressive upward move has come to an end. And we will be waiting for the next one to begin. Of course, you don't know which direction it's going, but this is a good indication of a local top, basically. So, um, so that's one way that these are useful, is identifying when these big moves have come to an end.
It's also smart that we're now looking at the daily chart, and if you see that the candlesticks are starting to move outside of the Bollinger Bands, then it's wise to zoom in on the lower time frames. And if you go to the 4 hour, and like what you're seeing now, what Slam, the circle he made, uh, you need to start paying attention on the top side of the candlesticks. So if you are seeing a lot of upside wicks on the lower time frames, that you're getting the signal that the bears are starting to step in. So that really tells a lot if the movement is coming to an end.
Yeah, so you can see it, especially on this wick here. the wick is fully outside. So that's the other thing you can use this for, is when the price breaks out of these Bollinger Bands, can be a good indication. So uh, here, where it's broken out, oftentimes it will come back in. So this can be a good indication that this has been a very aggressive move. It's popped out at the top of the Bollinger Bands, and if you're FOMOing in, this is potentially a bad time to do it, because it's a kind of an oversold indication, overbought, sorry. Whereas something like this is a great candle to buy, right? In the middle of the Bollinger Bands, very aggressive, but it's still not popped out the top, which can be an indication that the run's going to continue. But as Angelo said, we'll just delete these. As Angelo said, when you get in these big wick, when you get in the wick, the body of the candle is inside the band, but the wick is outside. So this would be another instance. This could be like you said, a sign that the bears are winning. Naturally, I'm on the daily here, so if you would want more detail, this week's not particularly interesting on the Bollinger Band, so we're going to go to the 14th of April as I zoom in. 14th of April. This looks completely different. Yeah, here we go. Here's that wick, 15th. So you see is this right? Oh, no, sorry, I've moved a month away. May,
Still May.
still May. Back,
If you
back,
go
back.
to if you
There we
go
go.
to the
Here
oh,
we
you got
go.
it.
I
There's a-
got it. Yeah, so you see these wicks
Yeah.
popping out. So this is a good indication that this move is getting kind of exhausted, and also you can tell that the it's still contracting as we're going into this, so the volatility is going down. So basically, we've got the aggressive part of the move. All of these candles are outside of the bands, so this is super, super aggressive. Then it consolidates, a little bit of a pump at the top, nothing to get too excited about, and then that was the actual top, and then we've come down since then.
And also when you are starting to lose the center line, that's also a really important part.
Okay, like here?
Yeah. So if you go a little bit further, then we had a little kind of fake out that we came above the center line.
Here? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
Trying to remember.
also indicates a possible new trend direction. So if you see that we had an aggressive sell-off right through the middle line,
Yeah,
yeah, and then it was all the way down
yeah.
to 27K or so.
Yeah, so you're kind of spotting it's like a measure of the trend, not trend, but I don't know how you would describe this is I think this is where I stumble on Bollinger Bands, is like, how would you describe what it's actually doing? Because it's measuring um volatility and trend at the same time. But what a lot of people use it for, rather than um getting too worried about the technicalities of how it's calculated. What a lot of people use it for is finding entries and exits. So yeah, here's a great example. So we've come down from this top band here, trending downwards. We've popped out the bottom. The candles have continued to trade below the Bollinger Band here. And then this last green candle has actually closed inside the band. This is a signal that many people will actually use for triggering trades, an entry signal. So candles come out of the bottom Bollinger Band, and then once it's out, we're waiting for it to go back in, for it to close inside the band. So this would be your entry, and then you can think of using the top band as a potential take profit or to close out your trade. So this candle here actually closed just outside the Bollinger Band. So this would be a very neat um, Bollinger Band trade of 5%, which is pretty good for a ranging
Yeah.
market. Um, and
And
obviously you can do it on the other side, right? So you take a
yeah,
short position,
and this is a great example too. If you see the third candle after the green one,
this guy.
that
Yeah.
big rejection wick, that that tells a important part of the story.
Um, yeah, so I think that's basically the techniques for Bollinger Bands. I think we should look at today just to see if there's any action to be taken. I feel like today um, is I, yeah, this kind of reflects my feeling about today.
Yeah.
It's up a bit, it's down a bit, but mostly it's just hanging out in the middle, right? We're basically on this center line. So I don't think there's much trend today in either direction. Gone up, we've come straight back down again. And this been like that for the last week, more or less. We're just hovering around this sort of center line.
I also, Slam,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the chart right now. I believe we have a very nice topic that we can discuss next week. Can you draw a little square box?
Sure.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
want?
Uh, Start a little bit left where the wicks begin.
Here?
A little bit. No, no, no. Up there. A little bit on top, 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 top.
Here?
Yeah, there. And
Uh-huh.
you draw a square box to the right,
Uh-huh.
and this is an order block, and this
Uh-huh.
is this is a very important topic. Why price behaves in certain ways, and we can tell you guys a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about support and resistance last week, and basically, uh, this is actually a good example of this price is being rejected
Hmm.
inside this box, um, which is at, let's see, 27.5 to, yeah, about $27,500, which is basically an indication that people are selling a lot in this box. So when the price gets up there to 27.5, people are putting sells in. Jack's firing up his short orders. I see Jack's joined us. So I'm sure he's got a few shorts in this box. Um,
Jack's the man.
and you can see that that's been the case for basically for this week. That's essentially the story of this week is this 27,500 block of sell pressure. Um, so before I, yeah, maybe I'll just go on to the zone fight. You got anything else to say about Bollinger Bands, Angelo, before I move on to the zone
Yeah,
finance?
what I really personally love about the Bollinger Bands is the if you can go a little bit back, maybe I saw it on a daily or
Okay.
just the 4 hours also good. Um, what I mainly focus on is that how tighter the squeeze, how bigger the movement is going to
Okay.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
if
got
you
one.
use a little bit of basic uh, common technical analysis. So let's say you have a really tight zone, and let's say the RSI is way oversold, and oh, look at the left one. Look at the left one. So
Yeah,
so if you are using a couple of more indicators like the RSI, or it's a really important a low point. So then the chance would really increase that we are going to have a upwards movement, and that's where you can really make some money.
yeah. So you can see that this has really tightened up. The Bollinger Bands on either side have really tightened up. The price is really consolidated around this average. It's not very volatile at all, and you can see that the color flips to purple here,
Mhm.
and then bam, we're off right. So it expands super fast. Um, so yeah, this is a really nice example of when to use Bollinger Bands. Um, Yeah. So if we were doing this office hours on that day, Sunday, the 9th of April, I would hope we would say, hey, something big's going to happen.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah,
know which way. But again, you don't know which way it's going to go, right? It's going very, very tight, and you're expecting it to explode in one direction or the other. It could have easily gone downwards. In this case, it went up.
yeah.
But,
And
you know, as
that's
soon
why
as
you
this,
try to find confluences with other technical indicators and
yeah,
look at the bigger time frame. Where's the price on the weekly? Where is it on the daily? It's all about how do you say that? Probability.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can see like this green candle popped straight out of the band as well at the top. So that can be a good indication that it's maybe going up. But yeah, you would use this in confluence with another indicator. Um, does anyone have any questions about this before we go on to the next thing? I don't have the chat open. Here we go. Okay. So that's Angela's written an article somewhere about Bollinger Bands.
Oh, I can link it.
Yeah. If you want to read some more about that. Uh, so basically, yeah. So Angela was deep into YouTube trading, reading everything there is, watching every video there is
Yeah,
on
that's
YouTube
my
about
favorite.
trading, which is his favorite
Do
activity.
you, Jack? Do you know that channel? Um, Let me link it also. It's so good. It's so good. That guy. You probably know it.
What was it called? Something the trade the mindset, something mindset,
Yeah, Secret
the
Mindset, I
secret
believe.
mindset. That was it. Yeah. So Angelo sends me this video. He says, "Oh, this guy's got." I get one of these a week, right? This guy's got an amazing indicator. You got to check it out. We can make this, yada, yada, yada. And I would tell you, probably 9 times out of 10, Angelo sends me one of these, and the thumbnail is like 10,000% best indicator, 100% win rate, and they are trash. They are, I'll try and make them in TradingView, and I'll be like, oh, this just straight up doesn't work. It's not interesting, and they'll have made some very simple mistake, or the win rate will be they're basically cherry picking their data, or the win rate will be the percentage win will be so poor that as soon as you factor in something like exchange fees or slippage, then you're easily in the red, easily. Especially
Mm.
anyone that tells you, "Oh, I've got this amazing indicator," and set it up on the 15-minute chart, they're lying to you. It doesn't work. There's no YouTube indicator guy who has an indicator that works on anything less than the hourly. It just doesn't happen. So
Sp- Especially almost every indicator that based on um,
moving averages,
no. Oh my God, how do you call the candles?
Heikin-Ashi candles.
Heikin-Ashi
Yeah,
candles. They're
yeah.
9 of 10. They're fake.
You so I mean, here I come in defending our indicators. I would never say our indicators work on very um, short time frames. They can be useful for short time frame trading, but they work best on higher time frames. Things like support and resistance, they work on any time frame because they're just drawing lines. But anything to do with trends or this line crosses that line, uh, they don't they don't necessarily work. And as Jack wisely points out in the chat here, why would they promote it if it worked? No, people who have algorithms and trading things that work uh, don't don't tell people.
Yeah.
um, and I would wink at the camera if if I had one on. That's all I'll say about that. And yeah, but what I prefer to do with our indicators is it's basically a toolkit, right? So you're using a lot of different tools to try and understand what the market's doing and try to make intelligent decisions based on that. and everything is based on probabilities. So you're trying to decide the most likely outcome, um, whether it's going to go up or down, rather than um, this is going to work 100% of the time, because nothing's going to work 100% of the time. We just want to be right more than we're wrong.
Hmm.
And also, not for me, a lot of it is not FOMOing in or out, right? Panic selling or FOMOing into things. It's like using your indicators to take a breath almost, see what they say, and go from there. Um, so that was my rant about YouTube. Right, so let's bring up Zone Finder. Yeah, so um, I watched this video and I thought this guy spent 5 minutes explaining how to, or a few minutes explaining how to set it up on TradingView. I was like, I can make this in very, very quickly. And basically all it is really, really simple. Is three Bollinger Bands. I mean, I can probably remake it with the Bollinger Bands here. Let me just do that. I'll just give a short demonstration. Oop, I'm gonna click here. So it's using the Bollinger Band with 200 length moving average, which makes it very wide. Okay, it's perfectly overlapped, but I will hide this. Um, so it's a Bollinger Band. This is the exact same Bollinger Band that we were showing before. Um, all I've done is made the moving average of a length 200, and the difference here is that we have uh, different standard deviations. So as I explained before, Bollinger Band, just moving average length and a standard deviation. They're your two settings to change. So we've set the moving average length to 200, and then the standard deviations are the red zone, standard deviation is 1, the orange zone, standard deviation of 2, and the green zone, standard deviation of 3. Um, and this is kind of really interesting. I'm And I think what we will do now is basically kind of do what we do in Big Dog Labs, which is build an indicator and then just look at it until we can figure out some strategies to do with it. So I've looked at this a little bit. The strategy from the video, he basically says that when you are in between, when you're in this within this red zone, right? So between the midline, which is this white line, and the two red lines above and below, then you're essentially trading sideways. You have reasonably low volatility, and you're expected to continue moving sideways. When you're between the red and the orange line, if you're on the upside, then you can normally expect it to continue to trend upwards. And if you're on the downside, you can normally expect it to continue downwards. If you're between the orange and the green zone here, let's zoom in here, then the market is trending upwards very aggressively. Um, and if you're poking out the top of the green zone, then you should expect it to come back inside, right? So you're very, very, it's trending extremely aggressively. And likewise on the downside. So you can see it pokes out here just a little bit and then comes back inside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would like to. Um, the reason why I choose the colors from, if you look at the top three colors above the white line, so when you are, in this case, we're looking at Bitcoin. If you want to short Bitcoin, so that's why I choose the green color for the top side. So that would be the ideal position to take a short. And as soon as you come across the orange line and you start to lose the orange line, then you can go back to the red line. So the short is still valid, but also when you are getting to the red line, that would be a great entry just to or close your short or take profits. And so that's why I also made the lowest line green. So if you yeah, there's a great example. You see where the camel came up into the green line. So that would be an ideal place to go long. and you see at first we are battling the orange line, and
Yeah.
suddenly we came up the orange line. So the trade is still valid over there, and yeah, this trade all went all the way up to the upper green line. But um, so now you have a real visual point where to take profits or where to close your long or short.
Yeah, I'm the way when I was looking at this before, I think it's actually a very neat way of maybe not finding your entries and exits. Oh, sorry, let me start again. Maybe not finding your perfect entries, because I think in a way there is a bit of a optical illusion here because the the lines tend to trend in one direction, so it looks like it's trending like here. It looks like it's trending upwards here because of the lines around it, but actually it's not really changing that much. But I think it's a really interesting way of setting targets, take profit and stop loss targets.
Yeah,
So
I also use it for the stop loss
yeah,
position.
yeah. So if you were to take this entry here, which would be good trade, then you could set your first take profit at the first line. So you enter at, yeah, basically 20k. Your first take profit is about 21, and then your second would be 22. I guess this is going up in ones, 23, yeah, etc. Um, and then yeah, so you would then know to like take profits along the way, and you're like, okay, it's crossing all of my take profits. Another thing you could do, way I was thinking of it, is like a grid bot, so you could let it run. So when it crosses the orange line up, then you don't actually take profit, and you're waiting for it to cross. Let's say we're long, we're waiting for it to cross down a line, right? So this trade is really good, but um, we enter here, we cross above the orange line, we don't take profit, but this now basically becomes our stop loss, right? And then we cross above the red line, we adjust our stop loss up again, and then we cross against the white line, and then finally this orange line, and then once we're above this, and then because we come back down, then we finally close our trade here.
Hmm.
Um, so we've got these kind of checkpoints on the way, and using it as a way to kind of adjust your stop
It's
loss
like
or your take
it's like a
profit.
tra it's like a trading stop, isn't it really? A trading stop
A
loss.
trailing
So
stop,
you
yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think it could be a very useful tool for that. Like, yeah,
That's
And
interesting.
also a great example that Jack gave. Can you open up the link chart,
yeah.
chain link?
Give me 1 second. Uh,
Doesn't matter
let's
if
go
it's
Binance Chainlink 10
yeah,
minutes.
Binance is great. So if you
If I go on the daily,
look at the daily, yeah,
yeah,
and just zoom out a little bit.
let's get to the
Yeah,
daily.
this is the great example. So this indicator also works if you look at the right side. So now we are in a consolidation phase, and I already did the math. It's like 190 days already. And so this is a great. If you zoom in on the whole consolidation phase, and if you're just a patient trader and you would like to accumulate on your favorite coin, so now you have a real clear view. Okay, so where do I have to buy and where can I sell? So if you go back 190 days, so it was on the orange line, and
Yeah,
so the ideal place would be in this case the green upper line. But if you're just really patient and just sell on orange, okay, never touch the green line, and every line that comes above the center line, so the white line, just sell the coins, and
yeah,
when it comes back to orange, just start to accumulate.
yeah. So it's almost a not a DCA, but like a swing trader.
Yeah,
So I mean, these swings aren't. I don't know how big. Maybe they are quite big.
and there's totally no stress involved. Just buy, sell, you have so much time to accumulate.
Yeah. So you could be DCA, yeah, you could use it as a DCA strategy where you're
Hmm.
buying when it's between the red and the orange on the downside, you could be buying, and then when it's between the red and the orange on the upside, that's when you could be selling.
And
Uh,
you don't have to guess anymore because just turn the indicator off. You only see candlesticks, and now yeah, you have a real clear view where the price might bounce again, where it finds support.
no, I don't think that. But yeah, yeah, it could be.
Cool.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we were thinking about this for a bot strategy, right? So we
And
have,
don't
yeah,
forget, this is on the daily, so
yeah, yeah, really
the
long time.
price difference is really great.
Yeah, yeah, everything. Charts are always amazing in hindsight. This is the problem with
That's true.
charts.
That's true.
But you know, if you're in a time of uncertainty, I mean, this is if you think something is bottomed out, especially like it's as low as it's probably going to go, which I guess is, I mean, there's a lot of evidence for that for Link, right? Because it's not doesn't seem to be going below this orange line at all, which is about $5. Um, then this is reasonably low risk in a way. You're only going to if it starts accelerating upwards in a bull market, then you know you're in a winner.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and,
But,
and
Yeah, you're
if
right.
you've been
Sam,
accumulating in this lower zone, then you're good to go. Yeah, go
Sam,
ahead.
what's the because the first time I've seen you use this indicator. So what's the indication of when the bands start to widen? Is there kind of initial indication, or is it kind of just explosive?
Well,
So like
so the bands are basically a measure
like it's just
of
zoom into
yeah, yeah,
that
I'm
one
working
there.
on it.
Oh, sorry.
uh, I'm zooming
So
as
this way
fast as I
just
can. Yeah. So the bands are basically an indication are a measure of volatility. So if you are getting a lot of movement up and down, it doesn't
yeah,
really
no,
matter which direction they're in.
I was just seeing for the for this zone finder because obviously it's such a slower pace in terms of compared to the Bollinger Band, isn't it?
Well, it's because
So
you're
it's
using a
quite
200 moving average.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So you could potentially
Yeah, we could speed it up.
find no, but what I mean is it's good that it's slow because then you could start
Yeah,
to you could measure the band if the bands start getting you could measure the bands at the end, and if it gets to a certain point that's wider than it started off, you could start to say that it's starting to expand and it's starting
yeah.
to grow and it's going to explode. So then you could stop a bot if the bands start getting too wide compared
Oh,
to
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
the middle. Yeah, you know, you have a look back period of say 10, on a day or 4 hour. You could look back at a certain period of time, and if it's wider, starting to get wider, then you could say, okay, that's the indication that
yeah,
the price is starting to move.
like the
Hmm.
bot's like, oh, too volatile, and it kind of
Yeah,
bails out.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So you could that could be a switch off for your bot, or if you're actively trading, you could go, okay, well, I could draw some levels, and if the bands start going outside those levels, that's the indication that I'm gonna sell now, or yeah, sell now really, because if it's
Yeah,
going to go down, you want to exit, or if you're holding, then you might just stop buying. You want to just wait for the right time to sell. If you just measure the yeah. So if you could draw some, see there that the bands are getting smaller and smaller.
yeah, yeah. So that could be a
No, I
sort of
mean, yeah,
indication.
at the end there, you can see it's getting smaller.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting
Yeah,
indicator. Um,
Jock's
um,
got Jock, and Jock's got a question.
yeah. And the other thing, I mean, just to sort of go back to, yeah, we basically, yeah, we had a bit of a failed experiment with a grid bot. I wouldn't say it's failed. It's not failed yet,
It's
but
not failed. It's
work in progress.
it's work in progress.
Work in
And
progress, yeah.
yeah, work in
And I think
progress is
this
better.
is an idea that we'll probably use for that. I think we can use the grid bot that we have and use some of this idea to make it better, make it work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We touched on that on the Bollinger Band as a kind of way to measure volatility to increase the grid size. I'm talking about something that no one knows, but
Yeah. Okay.
um, but yeah, it was just basically to use Bollinger Band as a method for volatility.
Yeah.
But actually, just to jump in, Jack mentioned something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, he's got a really good question.
Okay. What I'm curious about on that chart, when it's previously started to expand, it's been above the higher red line. It's been above that in this range, but hasn't expanded. So does the expansion require more time above certain lines? Expansions of the band size. It's basically because of the length of the moving average. Oh, I'm gonna have to bring up an equation here. It's the way that Bollinger Bands are calculated. So it'll be volatility measured over the length of, it's using the moving average to measure the volatility as well. So it would need to be volatility over a long, because our average is over 200. So in this case, it's 200 days, which is like 9 months basically. Um, it's we would need big volatility within that very long period for the bands to start expanding, and vice versa, right? And then they'll begin to contract. From a sort of maths perspective, yeah, Mr. McCryptoface makes a good point that we're not even we're just doing pure technicals here, so we're not even taking into account what Bitcoin is doing or the sentiment of the market. So at the moment, we're just, there's not much interest in crypto, to be honest, in the wider world. So this volatility has come right down, and I'm sure there's very little interest in Link. Yeah, exactly. So the longer the moving average, as Jack's just pointed out, the longer the moving average is, the less severe the response in the bands. So,
Yeah, it's slow.
I'm sure if we shorten, we
It's
can
like a
just,
higher time frame. It's like a higher time frame
yeah.
trend, isn't it?
I
Almost.
mean, if we make it 20, then it's gonna be a bit more mad. Yeah. So you can see the bands respond much more quickly because we've shortened the moving average, and the bands are responding to that. But I don't think this. I don't know why this would be useful. Looks cool. I've made so many indicators that are just that. Looks cool, not useful. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really
Do you
have
want to
any.
quickly? Do you
Yeah,
want to quickly just put on the level hunter, and I could just
let's do it.
last 10 minutes just show people sort of system that I've made or created for myself,
Yeah.
which
What
finds
chart do you want?
it doesn't matter, whichever. Something a bit more interesting than Link.
Let's do
For
ETH.
Bitcoin or ETH, yeah, so.
Yeah, let's do ETH. ETH
So yeah,
USD all
so
time.
it's just a method to find your high time frame support and resistance using our level hunter.
A level hunter. Of course, you can get the Big Dog Labs level hunter by going to bigdoglabs.io and signing up. $30 a month will get you access to our 3 premium indicators: Level Hunter, Candle Hunter, and the Toto Trend Indicator. And it will get our everlasting love and gratitude from me, Angelo, and Yoshi. And to be honest with everybody, all the money that goes to us, we're basically spending it on development.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're, spending it on trying to make cool stuff. 100% of the money's gone to that so far. So, yeah, if you want to support
Cool.
us and you like what we do, and you want to level hunter for yourself, go to bigdoglabs.io. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. bit of marketing.
Yeah.
So what do I do? So go to
Salad,
the
Josh. Salad.
the level hunter settings. So this is what I would do.
Yeah.
So settings, and then I just put active 2. And I changed it to
Use.
close, open and close.
Yeah.
And now I flip between strong and fast, just depending on the levels that I'm trying to find. So I'll probably start off on strong, just to kind
Okay.
of get the best ones. And then I'll go on to weekly chart, and then pretty much just plot out those just the first one. So that one there at the top, that's right.
I'm just going to change this
Um,
color to make it a
what
bit.
I would do, I use something strong, and then I would probably make it quite wide. So maybe I could pixel of 2 or 3, maybe, just so you know it's a strong level.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, yeah, and then I plot that one, and then I would maybe look at level hunter again and change to fast, just to kind of see if we
Okay.
can get any
So
weeklies.
yeah. So you're plotting support and resistance using level hunter on the weekly chart to find like super strong levels.
Yeah,
But the
exactly.
price is it's going to have a hard time breaking through these levels, right? There's going to have
Exactly.
to be
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then I would look at the price that's
This one.
that one there. Yeah, that'd be the closest one there.
So that's
And
another
then
one about 2,000. And then
I
here.
wouldn't. No, it's too close to the one that's already been.
Okay. Yeah. So this basically
And
gets wrapped up in the other one.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'd probably look at the one
That's
in
about
between
so
there.
we've got
So
one at 2,000, one at
and
1,000,
one about 3.5.
and one at the all-time high, more or less. 3.5. So
Yep,
this
that
one.
one there. Yeah, so we're trying to find. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I look at trying to find some channels in those charts, and
Okay.
then I would double check on monthly just to make sure there's anything there. No, it's fine. And
Yeah. So
then
so on the monthly, you can basically see that it's bounced off this um,
strong
resistance
weekly.
level at 2,000, more or less. And at the start of the year, what's this? 2020, yeah, December 2022.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so this year it's basically been trading in this 1,000 to 2,000 region. This is
yeah,
the
exactly.
peak.
Yeah. So then you would drop down to maybe the daily and stick it on to strong.
Okay, so now we're we are keeping these levels because I've plotted them. By the way, good keyboard shortcut, Alt H on TradingView. So that'll plot you a horizontal line.
Okay.
Very
Oh,
useful.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I know that one. Nice.
Alt H. Yeah.
Learned something today.
So I'd probably plot the ones that that's right. Yeah. So have you changed it to strong?
Ooh,
It seems to be quite busy.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's change it back to strong. So on Level Hunter, we have these different settings. So we have different sources you can use, yeah, that you can select from. I won't go into detail. The difference between strong and fast on the level presets is the amount that it's the look back and look forward, look left and look right periods. So you can, if you said it's custom, you can use these two fields to set whatever you want. The strong has a very long look left and look right, so you get a lot fewer levels, but they tend to be stronger. And the fast, you get it has shorter look left and look right, so you get a lot more levels, and they tend to be a bit weaker, but obviously they're faster to respond, which is why we called them strong and fast. So yeah, let's go back to strong.
So I would then plot the one at 1430 because it's the most recent one there.
Yeah.
So looking at the most recent kind of ones that have gone there, and then just zoom out, see what's going on now. So I'll probably just leave it at that for now, and then that you've kind of got your core levels.
Okay.
I mean, I would probably play around with it maybe for another half an hour just to double check everything, but that's essentially what I'm doing. So I'm looking at the monthly, weekly, and then go down to the daily, flipping between the fast and strong, and then you've got your major levels. Then, so when you drop down to like the hourly, and you start to look at some trades, you zoom out, you can go right. Okay, I know for a fact that that is a strong support or resistance, and it's higher likely that the price is going to bounce off that.
Yeah, and
area.
that's a great point, because that are also the zones where big institutionals are looking at. If the price is stuck, they always try to send the price where the liquidity is. And if you are balancing in a certain zone, and there's a big liquidity zone, a big support level beneath you, then the big people most likely are going to send the price over there to grab the liquidity, and then from there to choose a new direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yoshi, what would you do today? So
Well,
let's say this is our ETH chart.
I would say it's
What would be your opinion?
I would just double check to see if there's any more strong levels that I could plot around there. If not, so it was quite a big drop from 1400, 1800 to 1400. So there must be some sort of levels that I've missed. I'll just check on those time frames.
Oh. So there seems to be quite a few around 1700 in the past.
Yeah, so that one there is a nice one. That one there, because it's like middle of the range.
Yeah.
So that I'll probably plot that one out, like that one
So I've
out.
gone back to the daily, and then I'm just looking at some older levels, and you can see there's a couple above, couple below. They're hovering
Exactly,
around
yeah.
this 17,
Exactly, yeah.
1700.
So then you could
Um,
like see the nearest one, because
yeah,
that's the most recent level, and then get confluence with the other ones above and beyond, above and below, and then start to kind of find your ranges. You're trying to find a top, middle, and a top, bottom, and middle. Like like the Bollinger Band has the top and top, bottom, and middle. It's
yeah,
a similar sort of thing. So here now you would go right. Well, let's see if price can bounce off that level and see if it holds, and then you would look for a long.
yeah. So if I'm going to clean up the chart here, and we're just going to keep the ones that we're interested in. So we
I mean,
essentially we're in this is our zone, right? So between,
yeah,
let's say 1700 and 2000, more or less. So I guess an easy thing to do would be to put a long trade at 1700 that then closes at 2000, right?
essentially, yeah,
If
that
we
would be,
went down here, bounced off this, and then came back up here, then
yeah,
you
the
put in
basic level, yeah.
your buy order probably a little bit above, and then your sell order, your take profit at least at 2000.
Essentially. I mean, you start looking at like bit of price action and see whether it's a strong move and that kind of stuff, a bit more detail. But essentially,
Yeah.
that's what you're doing. You're just looking. I mean,
Oops.
like Angelo was saying before, just finding confluence with
Yeah.
other methods.
Yeah. So especially if it, like, say it dumped and it came out the bottom of a Bollinger Band, and then it was right at this 1700 level, you could say, okay, I've got these support and resistance or the support level is matching up with this other indicator, and I think you can kind of see it here. Yeah, kind of see it here. So it's popped out the top of the Bollinger Band here, and it's at this resistance line. So that's a good indication that the price is
Yeah, that would really
it's more likely to come down than it is to go up at
that would
that
be a
point.
good one.
Um, and yeah, it blasted out here above 2000, and it's outside the Bollinger Bands.
So there's so
Yeah,
you see that it broke a support and then it bounced back up and then it kind of it retested that support. It turned and it turned into resistance. So then that would be indication to short.
yeah,
So
yeah,
even though you think you've missed a move, it's quite a powerful move down. You could wait for it to bounce back up. Um,
I'm gonna set this trade. Oh well, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna put it on my chart here. Where's the long position? We're gonna go long on Ethereum. Here. We're gonna set our target at 2,000. Where do you want your stop loss? What are you feeling?
I would just do it. See that, but if you see the Bollinger Band there, just pop out.
1735 below the last low.
Below
Yeah.
the. Huh? No, we're
Okay.
gonna take it at. If it hits 1,700, then we're gonna go long.
So I'd say about there. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was
That's
looking at
fine.
my own charts. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that'll. That's a. What are we on the daily?
Yeah.
Great, great
Uh,
wisdom, Roger.
I mean, you could start doing some Fibonacci stop losses and stuff, but
We don't have
we're a
time for
bit
that
late.
today.
No.
So we will see if your trade plays out next week.
Yeah. My guess, my guess, I bet you, based on my trading experience and fails, that he gets stopped out. That he gets stopped out before he makes the move.
Or it'll get to like 1750 and then take off.
Yeah.
Just like you'll just miss it.
Yeah.
Um,
So well,
there's still a bit of luck involved.
the play always it always plays out, but it always gets you before it plays out.
Yeah.
That's the anyway.
All right.
I'll drop
Cool.
one. I'll drop one in myself.
Well, I think we're out of time for today. So thanks everybody that's joined us and everyone that's listened to the recording afterwards. If you want us to look at, if you have any requests, we're always happy to take them. You can ping us using @tradingmaster, I think, in the server from anywhere, and just say, hey guys, can you look at whatever chart next week, or I would like to learn about whatever indicator, or if you've, or I'm actually very interested if you find a YouTube video of some guy with his amazing trading indicator.
Oh yeah, that would be
Uh,
great.
if you want to send them to me, I'm always happy to see those. Or a bot, or if you want us to, yeah, we've done this a few times actually, that someone's had been, I'm going to say in air quotes, selling a bot, and it's turned out to be a scam. And we are trying to develop trading bots, so we can give you very good a good
Yeah.
eye for whether something is bullshit or not very easily.
You can
So
call it the
if you
bot sniffer.
yeah, if you want us to do some bullshit detection on a trading algorithm or a bot or an indicator, we will be more than happy to do that. We would much rather us do that than you get scammed any day of the week. So you feel free to DM us if you're if you don't want
And
to tell everyone.
also, we are looking for people that good at content creation, like making YouTube videos. People who have website building knowledge. We can always use you in our team.
Yeah, if you have if you want to help us out,
Yeah, that would be great.
just let us know. We do need some help. It is just the three of us. Awesome. Right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Yoshi and Angelo. And I will see everyone probably the same time next week. Probably. We'll see. I'll confirm later. Probably the same time next week.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys have interesting questions or strategies, just send them to us. We'll look at them, and yeah, maybe there's something good between them.
I mean, if you've got your own trading strategy and you want us to try and make you an indicator, again, just let us know. We are happy to help. Happy to help. All right, great. I'm going to stop now, and everybody have a good week. And yeah, we'll see you later.
Cheers.